Hi everyone, and welcome to the year ahead reading for the sign of Taurus. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot reading for Soul Illumination. So hi everyone and welcome. Now this reading is going to be a little different from my normal monthly readings, as we are going to be looking at the year ahead for the sign of Taurus. So we're going to be looking at basically pulling some cards to get a general theme and an overview for the year. And then I'm going to pull additional cards and some clarifiers down here where we're going to look at kind of the progression of the year ahead for you and what to expect. So let's jump right in. I hope all of you have had a wonderful start to your new year. There are going to be some two big planetary shifts this year and preparing us for some major, I think there's 5 additional planetary shifts coming in 2025. So this is a collective shift when that happens. When these big, slow-moving planets, a lot of them change signs. There's a sense here of the collective as a whole getting ready for a different experience. And this is going to be the year to kind of lay those foundations. A year that I perceive to be a little bit of a year of a shakeup, so that we have the ability to start building the future, if that makes sense. And that future will hopefully include some new things for humanity as a whole. But getting back to your reading here, Taurus. Now we have TikTok and we have Clean It Up. Now this is interesting because I'm getting kind of a similar feel here I just did Libra's reading, and there's a little bit of a similar energy coming through here. Now, TikTok is number 30, reduces down to the number 3 in numerology. 3 is all about, it can be communication, creativity. It can be about greeting life with the innocence of a child as well. So for some of you, the TikTok and the number 3, there's almost like a sense of timing around speaking or timing around creating and releasing a creation is what's coming through intuitively. Now I will go ahead and I'll read the excerpt from the book for these cards as well. But with Clean It Up, we have number 21, and number 21 reduces to the number 3 as well. So you have two number 3 here, two number 3s. So there's a sense here of really maybe taking a look. This could be maybe going back and revising a creative project before releasing it, or releasing it, launching it to a larger audience. This could be even taking a look at how you communicate and maybe perhaps changing that in a way to help, again, maybe in the work environment, or if you are, again, releasing something to the public, there could be a change in how you communicate as well. But let's go ahead. So again, this is kind of your overarching theme. So let's dive a little deeper into each card. Now, TikTok says essential meanings: timelessness, divine timing, immeasurable time. The Oracle's message says, when humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future ahead of them. But what if that isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order, were happening now in a glorious timelessness? There's a sense of that, that movie Everything Everywhere All at Once kind of coming through here. It says, you have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire. So release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time. I love that. Okay, and then we have 21, which says clean it up. I know a lot of us Tauruses, we do love our cleaning. I know, because I'm a Taurus sun sign, so I definitely understand this one. Okay, so it says essential meanings: getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. The Oracle's message: ever feel so bogged down with emotional gunk that you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your home also? Too much work? Overwhelmed? Time to clean house. Every item out of place natters away at you. Every unresolved resentment, every comparison to others that leads to a sense of lack takes up energetic space. Every unpaid bill just adds up to an unnecessary feeling of being overwhelmed. Now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleaning house. Just do it. Make room for the miracles that are lining up for you. beautiful energy when we think about that. So this is a year of really letting go. That's what I feel, Taurus. And when we think of the energy of kind of big change coming in, there's a freedom to that, right? Instead of when we think of change, and probably globally we're all going to go through change, there's a sense of wanting to prepare, wanting to control all these little things as they start to change or fall apart or fall together. We want to control, we want to be there, we want to try to mitigate risk, we want to keep the house in perfect order, that kind of thing. And yet there's also a sense here of saying, again, that divine timing, that what will be yours is never going to be withheld. So if things seem to shift unexpectedly or change out of your control this year, it's only for the better. There's a sense of kind of almost like letting Jesus take the wheel, letting your hands come up off that steering wheel and kind of allowing yourself to almost feel timeless in this year. And I know it's kind of a hard thing to grasp, but there's a sense of almost like suspended animation for you, Taurus. When we think about that, what does that picture elicit for you? There's a sense of like if everything was shaken up and everything in your house was out of order and kind of in slow motion floating around you, but yet you're like in the middle of it, standing there, letting everything kind of just be what it is. What would you notice that might be hidden, whether it's emotional, because this could be almost like if you think about like your emotional self kind of exploding outward. What is there that you could be like, you know what, I need to give that feeling that I'm not good enough, I need to put that in a box and give it to the Goodwill. There's a sense of that. It's almost like being able to kind of use this year as a sieve for yourself emotionally to get rid of that gunk, to realize even maybe in your physical life as well, what you don't need, what can be released. But there's more of a sense here of, again, when we think about communication and creativity, it's hard to create when we have this kind of emotional blockage in the pipes. When we can think about it, like if we use an analogy like that, there's a sense here of I want the energy to flow freely like water through a pipe, and that's hard to do when it's getting blocked with all that gunk that can reside in there from past experiences, from places where we actually maybe even put a block in place because we were afraid of experiencing something again. And there's that sense that this year you may not get everything that you were hoping for, but this is a beautiful year to prepare you for what's coming in 2025 and after. And I know that can be difficult to hear that. You're like, what? Well, I want something to happen this year. And it's just saying this is going to be one of those freeing years, because it's almost like, again, releasing your need to control, kind of releasing your need even to take the lead. And you get a chance to just focus on yourself. Focus on yourself so that you're allowing those miracles to come in for you. When miracles come in, when miracles come in, it's what is truly meant for us when we think about it like that. It's that helping hand that comes in out of the blue that takes you in a new direction. It's that call that says, hey, I'm interested in that book you submitted 4 years ago. It's that kind of thing where it's like, oh my gosh. And what's beautiful is that those miracles come in when we're emotionally ready for them. Maybe 4 years ago when you submitted that book to a publisher, if they would have said yes, you wouldn't have been at the place to be able to maybe, be strong enough to make a better deal, or to be strong enough to be able to go out on a tour and promote yourself. There's something like that coming through here. And so this is that year where you really get to prepare yourself for that miracle that wants to come in. Okay, so I'm going to pull a tarot card here to get, oh, interesting. You know what? I had the whole deck upside down. That's why. So this should be right side up. Okay, so this is a year for many of you with the Two of Swords coming in. So this is the other energy now, which is interesting because this is also Libra energy right here coming in, Taurus. Very interesting. So again, you might have Libra placements. I know I actually have a Libra moon myself, so many Taurus people will have Libra prominent in their birth chart as well. You could also have a progressed sun sign in Libra. So there's a sense here of this is also going to be a year where there's been a decision you've been kind of, I feel like, waffling on. The Two of Swords is when we have a decision to make And yet we are trying to rationalize which way is better, which choice is better. But it's hard to do so when you look at, she's holding these two swords and she's trying to figure out which one is her sword, which one is more in alignment with her truth. But physically, they're identical. So she's sitting here blindfolded. And so what she's being asked by Spirit to do is to use her intuition, to use her heart to make that decision. She has to, no one, including herself from the outside, can tell which decision is better, which decision is more in alignment, or which decision is the correct one. Only her heart can decide. Only her intuition can guide her towards that. So this is a year where for those of you who have been kind of like, I don't know which way to go, I don't know which decision to make, I've tried a little of this and a little, and I don't know what truth is more in alignment with me. That can also be this. This is going to be that year where I think you finally gain that clarity. You finally realize what you have maybe not been committing to, or a truth that is more in alignment with you is going to really come to the surface. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull some additional cards now, where we're going to look at kind of the progression of the year ahead. So let's see what's coming in here. For Taurus. Ooh, beautiful. First card off the bat is Nine of Cups. That really speaks to having a lot to be grateful for as you come into this year. It also speaks to a heart's wish. So for some of you who might have just been given, been granted a heart's desire. It could also be too where you have so much to be grateful for and you're starting to become aware of what that wish is. Yes, Six of Pentacles. Things are also balancing in your life in the physical, meaning that there could be a sense of reciprocity, a sense of seeing finally a return on an investment. Okay, so we have Five of Wands. I'm going to pull these additional cards here. Okay. I know it's weird. I'm getting the feeling sometimes when cards come out, these cards flipped over on top of this. So I feel like these are actually clarifiers over there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some additional cards down here. So it's the Nine of Cups, and we have the Hermit and the Five of Swords. For many of you, you're fighting. There's been an element of soul seeking going on with the Hermit. So when we go inside to really find the light that we have to offer. Yeah, I'm going to keep these. So that's way too many cards there. Let's see if we can get one more card here for you guys. There's a sense here. This is so interesting. Again, there's so many similar cards that came out in Libra's reading, but in just in a totally different capacity. All right. So let's see. Bottom of the deck, we have Justice. Yes, there's a major rebalancing. So this is going to be another year of a sense of maybe a big shift in your life where there might have been something that was kind of out of balance is going to come into balance. This could also be where there's a sense of harmony coming into play that has long been absent or you've been working towards. Now, with the Hermit and the Five of Swords again coming in over here, there's a sense of almost like fighting against shining your light. Of maybe not, this could even be where some people are telling you like, oh, you do this so wonderfully, or you bring this, every time you come to the group, this is what you offer and we love it. And you're like, no, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to shine in that way. Or there's a sense for some of you of you don't want to come out almost of a place of soul seeking. It could also be where you've discovered something about yourself, but you're trying to fight it. It's almost like it's a hidden knowledge is coming to light about yourself. And again, this could be where that decision needs to be made. And you're like, I can't acknowledge it. I can't see it. And there's a fight against that. But yet a soul's wish, your heart's wish is like wanting to release this part of yourself, to shine in a specific way, or to speak to something you've discovered about yourself. Now with the Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles does speak to a potential return on your investment. Maybe you've been working hard towards something and finally you're seeing a little bit of that return and you're like, oh, I never thought I would actually see something. We're working and working and working. And what's beautiful is that then we have the Ten of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles is this could actually be where you guys do really make a lot of money this year, possibly, or you move into a home. This could be where for some of you, you might actually, again, see a return on your investment, or you have kind of things stabilize in your physical, possible monetary life, even a stabilization of your time as well. And there's a sense of the Ten of Pentacles are really getting to that place of either making a big purchase. Ten of Pentacles can sometimes talk about home, legacy, inheritance even. So there could be, for some of you, you're receiving an inheritance, but there could also be that sense of like, okay, we're going to focus on the long-term vision for ourselves now that we're having a little bit of a return on our investment. How are we planning for the future? What is that ultimate legacy? What is that, what do we want to leave to the grandkids? Or what is the home that we want to build or work towards? Now, on the other side of this, we do have the Five of Wands, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. Now, the Five of Wands, it can be a card of chaos. It can be a card of like a lot of stuff going on, or a lot of people who have their own opinion coming in. And that could be maybe where you are, looking to do something differently. Maybe invest in, again, a house, or invest in a business, and everybody has their say as to like how you should do that. Or it's just creating kind of a change. Maybe this is like a house move and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy town. This could also be, though, for some of you, where you could actually be getting out there into the public eye. You might be, I sometimes look at the Five of Wands as healthy competition, where we're kind of getting back out there on the horse again to see what our passion or our talent, how it, kind of taking it into the open market. And with the Seven of Pentacles, you're definitely in the process of growing something. So we're going from the 6 with the eye to the 10, but we're going from the 6 to the 7. And that's where we get a chance to really see, okay, so there's a little bit of a return on my investment at the beginning of the year. Things kind of stabilize. There's a level of reciprocity in my life. There's a sense of feeling that there's a balance, but definitely in the physical as well. Again, you could be getting more time. You could be having more energy come your way. You could, again, for all the maybe hard work from the past few years, suddenly you're seeing a little bit of again, a return, a balance, but it could also be monetary. You could be getting a return physically in an investment sense, a return on your investment. And then there's a sense of like, okay, let me take a look at this. I want to grow something. I have an eye to the Ten of Pentacles. How am I going to get there? Do I want to keep investing in a certain way? Do I want to keep growing this? Because with the Page of Wands, there's a sense of freedom, of fun coming in over here. Now, for some of you, you could be growing, again, a business. You could be growing a savings account. You could be building a house. Or building a foundation for a major home move at some point. But the Page of Wands comes in at the very end, and there's a sense of fun. There's a sense of freedom, and there's a sense for many of you of kind of rediscovering what you're passionate about. I do get the feeling that the Five of Wands is almost like going out there, and you're like, I'm just going to go out there and join an intramural sports league, or what? I'm going to get back out there on the dating app, and I'm just going to whatever, I'm going to go out there and see who I meet. And then there's a sense of almost like, oh my gosh, maybe you do meet that person that kind of like sparks your, you're like, whoa, I love this. Or you're like, oh my God, I forgot that I loved, that I had a physical prowess in the sports realm. And I realized I just want to do more of that. Like, that's what I want to build into my life. There's a sense of, again, there's a sense of freedom in some aspect of your life, or a balancing out of either money, time, or just, something in your life that maybe you were kind of lacking up until this time. And now there's a sense of really being able to, towards the end of the year, realize, oh my gosh, we have enough money in the bank. Or I used this year to kind of just float around and get rid of the emotional gunk, kind of lean into a heart's desire, let things naturally balance out. And then suddenly there's going to be this realization of, I can just choose joy. I can just choose, and for some of you too, the Page of Wands could be a child in your life. Pages can sometimes represent children, and often the Page of Wands is looked at as the child at play. So there could be a sense of, maybe for some of you, maybe changing your focus to maybe be growing something in the home that really supports the future of your children. That could definitely be the Ten of Pentacles here. And so there's a sense here of really realizing, okay, this is the choice I'm going to make because it's in alignment with either A, it feels like fun and freedom for me, or B, it's in support of a child in my life. Okay, so now I'm going to pull some additional clarifiers. Okay, so here's that Ten of Pentacles again, coming in over here on the heart's wish. So for some of you, this could be literally that you are, you're like, I have so much to be grateful for, but I want the home, or I want that business. There's a sense of like really getting to that point of realizing what that Ten of Pentacles is for you. Is it the large home where you can grow a family? Is it the realization that, it could just be like, I want to have a ton of money in the bank. Or there's a realization, maybe for some of you, I'm even getting the feeling, for some of you, you might be sitting on quite a bit of money. It could be a house even. And there's almost like an exchange happening with the Six of Pentacles. So you guys could be selling a home. You could to be moving into a larger home or something that is more in alignment with your Ten of Pentacles. You could be cashing in a large chunk of savings to maybe put towards a business, because that's something that you've always wanted to do. Maybe that's part of the soul seeking. You're like, I've always wanted to do this, or this could even be where you're like cashing in a savings to travel the world because you're like, I've never done that. Something along those lines. But there is a sense for many of you, I think, of you have the Nine of Cups clarifying the Nine of Cups. Yeah, there's definitely you're moving money around to pursue a heart's wish. So again, this can either be that you are maybe putting money down on a new house, you are taking a large chunk of savings and putting it towards something. You could be the sale of a house. It could also be that you're realizing what that Ten of Pentacles is for you, and you're making that wish, and you are starting to put energy towards it. So it could be maybe the realization of, I want to have that house. I want to have that large home that generations of my family can come back, for the holidays too. And you're like, okay, that's my dream. I need to go ahead and start to make that happen. So I'm going to put money into a new savings, a high yield savings account, or I'm going to cash in and buy the starter condo so that I can acquire equity and it's something along those lines for you. But there's something around that Ten of Pentacles. And I think for many of you, it is home related, or it is a level of monetary worth that you are either investing, changing hands, or kind of moving something around to make a heart's dream come in for you. So let's see about this Six of Pentacles. Okay, so there's that Five of Wands coming in again. And here is the Nine of Coins. Yeah, so the Nine of Coins and the Five of Wands, again, is that kind of chaotic energy. The Nine of Coins, the Nine of Pentacles is where we are at that point of financial independence. It's where we get a chance to stop and kind of smell the roses, where we're in a good place financially, we're in a good place with our time and our energy. And for some of us, though, this can be where we get into a comfort zone or a gilded cage, where there's a sense here of, I don't want to leave this. This is, safe and secure. And yet there might be a sense of, but if you really want to get to the Ten of Pentacles, you have to leave that Nine of Pentacles in search of that 10th Pentacle. And so there's a sense here of maybe, again, realizing, okay, things are getting chaotic. This would be like saying, like, I want the house that has, the 4 bedrooms, that has enough space for all the kids. And yet you're sitting here the Nine of Pentacles saying, yeah, but our house is fine and maybe it's half paid off, but it's getting crazy. The Five of Wands is where it's getting to be chaotic because you guys are all, maybe you don't have enough space for all the kids to have their own room, and in the house it's too small, and it's, and you're like, oh my God, or this would be like saying, my heart's dream is to have a business. And maybe you've been doing your business in home for, years, and finally you're at that breaking point of like, now it's creating chaos in your home life because you're at the point where you need your own space to be doing this, or you need to be expanding or getting help. And yet, you're like, oh yeah, I want to take my business to the next level, but I don't know how to do that. And now it's just getting chaotic. So there's a sense of having to shift that balance for yourself away from looking at where the chaos is coming in or where there's been a lot of disruption, and really getting to the point of realizing that there's something that needs to change in your physical environment, that there might have to be, again, money changing hands. There might have to be a sacrifice in the physical to, again, get you closer to this 10 of Pentacles. It might be, okay, it's time to take that money we've saved and it's time to bite the bullet and buy the house, or it's time for me to expand my business. Time for me to officially not be, a person having my business in my house. Now it's time for me to, move it to a larger, location. Or it's time for me, maybe I have the larger location, but it's only been me and 2 other people and we have so many orders and it's just been crazy town and I need to hire 4 more people. It can be something like that. So now with the 10 of Pentacles, so here's where that 2 of Swords is, the 2 of Swords and the 2 of Coins. There's a decision to be made as to what to prioritize in your life. Remember, if we're going from the 9 of Pentacles to the 10 of Pentacles, that means that there's a 1 pentacle difference here. And the 2 of Pentacles asks you to make that choice. The 2 of Pentacles is where we're just juggling. We're just getting by doing the day-to-day tasks. And when you think about it, if you are juggling 2 different, let's say the Pentacles are seeds, it's very difficult to get that seed to grow to what you want. And from the 6 to the 7, there's only 1 seed, right? So there's a sense of having to let one thing go to focus solely on the other. And that's where you've been in the state of indecision of what is this legacy? What is it the business? Is it the home? So there's a sense of really having to, I think that's why with the TikTok and the clean it up, there's a sense this year of getting to that place of what doesn't need to be here anymore. What doesn't need to be here emotionally, where maybe you're juggling something from the past because it was just what you've always done. It's like, well, I've always had this crazy job. And yeah, I've always just had to juggle it. But yet maybe you have this whole business, this whole other side hustle that you want to commit to. Or maybe it's something where you do want to finally, level up and, have the house. But you're like, but I also like to travel a lot. And it's like, well, is travel more important, or is having the home that you can come back to for generations more important? And that's going to be only something that you can decide. That's what the 2 of Swords says. It's only something that you can decide because it's what's coming from your heart. So for many of you, this year is starting off with what is that wish in your heart for the 10 of Pentacles? What do you want to experience in the physical? What is that ultimate legacy you want to leave behind? And that's where the decision, this is the crux of the year for you. That once you have that clarity and you realize the comfort zone you have to leave, yeah, you're going to be thrown out a little bit into the 5 of Wands, right? It's kind of scary. You're like leaving the walled garden of your security and you're like, oh. And there's the 4 of Pentacles and the Moon. Yeah, there's a sense here of like, okay, I've been holding back. 4 Pentacles is kind of like miserly energy, right? This is where we're holding back in the physical. And it doesn't always mean that we have to be holding back monetarily. It could be that we're holding back our energy from investing in something. It could be like saying, I don't want to put more hours into my business, but yet in a way, you have to, in order for it to grow into the large, entity you want it to become. This would be like saying, my 10 of Pentacles is actually having the home where the family comes and everybody's happy and joyful. And you're like, but I actually haven't been spending my time going out to meet anybody. So if I have this home and I see future generations, well, are you actually working towards future generations? Are you meeting people? Or do you have a partner? Are you, that kind of thing? It can almost be like the realization of like, oh, I see where I've been holding back. And with the moon, yeah, there's that sense of, the way it's unclear, there's a lack of clarity. And it's like, but if I do invest, if I do choose to, I think for me, you're holding back because there is no clear, 100%, this is what's going to, if I leave my comfort zone, am I going to ever be able to come back? Am I actually going to get my 10 of Pentacles, or am I just going to lose, on my investment? And there's a sense of saying, the moon also speaks to the energy of feeling that intuitive pull towards something. That yes, the way may be unclear, and yes, just kind of like what TikTok speaks to, we might have to release our attachment to exactly how something is going to manifest for ourselves. But generally, when we go towards something that comes from the heart that we feel called or pulled towards, especially with the Hermit, that is when the miracles will come in out of the blue for us. That's where we'll get that support. That's where we'll get like that random chunk of money, or that person that when you finally make that decision and you say, okay, I do need to move to a bigger location for my business, but how am I going to pay the rent? There's no way I can do that. And all of a sudden someone comes in out of the blue and says, you know what? My company is moving out of, the building we've been in forever. We still have an extended lease. We would like to, the building is able for us to transfer it to you, and it'll be at half the cost of if you were to sign a new lease tomorrow. Something like that, where it's like out of the blue, someone comes in, or you get that little bit of seed money, that little bit of help. But there's something here. I think many of you are afraid to kind of go out into the open competition or open market. But it's because things, again, are going to get more chaotic and more chaotic the more you hold yourself back from making this investment or making this change. Okay, so yeah, here's the Two of Wands. That is the decision to go in a new direction, or that is a decision to do something in a new way. And then we have the Hanged Man and the Nine of Swords. And there's a lot of fear around that. And I think for some of you too, with the Hanged Man coming in, there's a sense here of seeing, I think, what you are worried about in a new way. The Hanged Man is seeing things from a new perspective, of actually getting kind of divine knowledge. And that realization, I think for many of you, you're realizing my fears are just that. They're just things in my mind that are holding me back. And maybe again, you might even be seeing, you might have had a, kind of a sense of anxiety around this, and you're realizing, I can walk away from that and simply just start focusing on growing more of what I want in my life. I don't need to be sitting in this place where I am kind of ruled by what I'm afraid of. I can choose to be free. And then it's like out here, you're choosing freedom. You're like, I don't have to sit here scared and anxious. I can just embrace life. And that's a choice I get to make. So let's see what this Page of Wands is about here. And for some of you, there's this sense of, from the Six of Pentacles to the Seven of Pentacles, there's a sense of, again, there can be that fear when we're growing something, or that fear of when, where maybe you have to, again, walk away from something you've been growing, and you realize, I've been investing in this, but I realize my ultimate goal is different than when I first started. And I might have to walk away from something I've been building because actually it's not in alignment with my 10 of Pentacles. This could be where maybe we've been so focused on, building something in our home life, and now all of a sudden you're shifting towards, but I really want to focus on, what feels like fun and play for me and passion. And that's going out and selling the house and traveling, or quitting my job and just living off of my savings for years. I mean, who knows? It's kind of that. There's a sense of that coming through. Now with the Page of Wands, here comes the Five of Coins. There's a sense of feeling like if you go out and just have fun and play and enjoy this aspect, or maybe even enjoy children in your life, that you're not going to be supported in that, or that it's going to lead to a monetary loss. And I think for many of you, this is actually where you're going to find your true magic. And that's the beauty, that in facing that fear of, if I give up a little bit of my safety and security here, and I actually do focus on what is that dream within your heart towards your ultimate legacy, towards what does home look like, what you want to build and create in the physical. Just because we go out and decide to it's almost like you choose fun, you choose play, you choose to focus maybe on your child instead of focusing on the bottom line. You might have to, this could be like giving up working to focus on having children. Or this could be where, again, you've just been so focused on saving, but you're like, but my dream is to, my true legacy is I want to see every country in the world. And it's like, well, yeah, that might mean you have to face your anxiety about draining your bank account. But in doing so, you face your fear of loss and lack. And in turn, you might discover the true magic about yourself. There's something here where maybe in traveling the world, you're going to discover something new about yourself that you get to bring back, a new side, a new business, a new, so it's like a lot of people will do that actually. They come back and they realize like, oh my gosh, I saw this in another country. I could totally do that here, and I'm going to do that. Or this could be where you literally are like, I am going to buy that house and I'm going to love it. And even though it's just me and I'm going to rattle around in that giant house on the hill, I'm going to love it. I'm going to love that this is what I've always wanted. And I'm going to fully embrace that at some point I'll meet the love of my life. At some point there will be children in this house, but I'm going to just bite the bullet, leave my comfort zone, invest in getting a house, and take my savings, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to face the fear of the unknown. I'm going to face this kind of waffling, choosing. But this could also be committing to a business, and you're like, I'm going to go 100% on my business, and yeah, I am going to level up, and yeah, it's going to be a sacrifice, but I'm ready to do it because I know that this is where my magic is meant to be poured out into the world. So it's a very beautiful reading. I'm going to pull a final card here. I'm going to pull a Power of Surrender card, and we'll wrap it up. This is going to be a year where you make a big decision and where suddenly you're going to realize, again, where you need to kind of prioritize, investing in something in your life experience, investing in the bigger picture for yourself, investing in the dream. But the dream that allows your inner child to feel free, not trapped, or the dream that allows you to support your own children and where you don't feel trapped. So we have Surrender to Wonder and Awe. This is one of my favorite cards in this deck. It says, open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. So yes, be prepared not only in the present moment to be, to find those moments of wonder and awe. I know from being a parent, there are those moments daily when you watch your child and it is true wonder and awe. But even those of you who don't have children, there are moments of wonder and awe where you're just shocked by the out of the blue kindness of someone, or you're shocked by, a turn of events that is favorable to you. And that's what keeps you connected to the energy of miracles. So be prepared this year to really keep yourself kind of, again, in that suspended state of just focusing on yourself, what your heart yearns for, and getting prepared to make that big decision around your ultimate legacy that is going to allow you towards the end of the year to feel free and to really get out of that place. I think for many of you of kind of overthinking something, there could definitely be that Nine of Swords here in the Hanged Man. This is almost like someone who all of a sudden it like dawns on them like, oh my gosh, this is what I want to grow. This is what I want to do. And you realize like, I've been just overthinking this. All I have to do is just make the decision to do it. And I don't have to keep overthinking it. And it's like, boom, here you go. All right, so I'll leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you all have a wonderful 2024 as well, Taurus. If you'd like to book your own reading and or to see more of the services that I offer, you can click on the link in the description box below to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in your next illumination reading. Bye, Taurus.